money. So they arrested 18-year-old Charles Turner yesterday, accusing him of trying to defraud the state and Georgia taxpayers out of tens of millions of dollars.
19-year-old Ariel Foster, a student and track star at LaSalle University in Newton, charged with stealing more than $547,000 from this jewelry store.
She would have an item in the store that she would mark up overpriced, and then she would return the difference onto a credit card that she owned in her name.
In recent times, a series of high-profile criminal cases involving young individuals have surfaced, highlighting sophisticated fraud schemes and their severe implications. These cases include attempts to defraud state tax systems, exploit social media platforms, and deceive unsuspecting customers. This report outlines the circumstances and legal proceedings surrounding these incidents, providing a glimpse into the lives and decisions of those involved, while recognizing the broader social and systemic issues that may influence such actions.
I want to talk about a major theft from a mail facility at JFK Airport. 2 postal workers have now been arrested, and they're accused of stealing Treasury checks, maybe worth even as much as $40 million. News 4's Gus Rosendale joining us from the newsroom tonight with what else we've learned, Gus.
Well, Natalie, detectives with the NYPD tell us they were initially tipped off by a bank that red flagged suspicious deposits, and they ended up joining forces with federal authorities, and that joint effort led to arrests earlier today.
What you guys do? What happened?
Tonight, these suspects are accused of conspiring to steal more than 100 checks worth millions of dollars from the JFK mail facility.
We uncovered really a point of compromise, and that point of compromise was JFK post office.
Prosecutors believe it's the biggest theft at JFK since the famous Lufthansa heist in 1978, when about $6 million in cash and jewelry was stolen from the airport. United States Attorney for the Eastern District of New York, Breon Peace, said in a statement, criminals who cash in on checks stolen from the mail can expect to fill out change of address forms for the federal prison they will be calling home. 2 of the defendants, prosecutors say, worked for the Postal Service. 3 others are charged with endorsing and depositing what investigators describe as stolen checks issued by the U.S. Treasury, mainly heading to international destinations.
These are checks that people are waiting for. These are checks that people are waiting for their livelihood.
New at 6, we've learned that included Social Security benefits, COVID stimulus checks, and tax refunds.
An 18-month criminal investigation in Brooklyn concluded on Wednesday morning with the arrest of 2 postal workers and 3 accomplices, accused of cashing millions of dollars in fraudulent checks, according to NYPD officials. The suspects were apprehended in Flatbush, Brooklyn, including 1 individual found with a firearm. Those arrested include Kevon Wellington, 31, and Angel Ortiz, 27, from Jamaica, Fuquan Bradley, 34, from the Bronx, Mark Dawson, 28, from Brooklyn, and KY Monty Straker, 24, from Orange and J. The investigation began after Capital One Bank reported suspicious large checks being deposited into mismatched accounts. NYPD Assistant Chief of Detectives Jansen Savino explained that the suspects cashed about $1 million through 150 accounts, leading to the formation of a task force involving multiple agencies, including the Secret Service and Treasury Inspector General. The task force traced the fraudulent checks back to the JFK post office, where postal workers were stealing and selling them through apps for modest fees, ultimately leading to significant profits. The suspects would quickly withdraw funds from a TMIS before banks could detect the fraud. The stolen funds were initially estimated at over $4 million, but could reach up to $40 million. The crime significantly impacted victims who did not receive their relief and Social Security checks, adding a layer of personal hardship to the financial crime.
A teenager with talent and skill, he could be something very impressive in business, except he's opted to go another direction. This time, state investigators say that he was cooking up elaborate schemes to try to steal his way to a whole lot of money. So they arrested 18-year-old Charles Turner yesterday, accusing him of trying to defraud the state and Georgia taxpayers out of tens of millions of dollars. Here's John Sherrick with new information.
State revenue investigators call this a whale of a case. An 18-year-old with the talents and skills to earn lots of money legally, but now he's in jail accused of trying to defraud the Georgia Department of Revenue out of more than $25 million. Charles Turner, an enterprising teen running an online business out of his home in the city of South Fulton called Riverdale X Electronics. His Facebook page is complete with favorable reviews, awesome deals on electronics, one supposedly happy customer wrote. But investigators say the business was mostly a front, a way for Turner to open a business account on the Georgia Department of Revenue website to try to appear to be an honest businessman who was overpaying his state taxes and was owed refunds.
Fortunately for us and the taxpayers of Georgia, we lost no money in this case. But he kept trying.
Investigator Josh Waits with the Georgia Department of Revenue says Charles Turner figured out how to make it look like his business was making money and he owed state taxes. Waits says Turner would repeatedly fill out forms on the Department of Revenue website to pay his taxes, but he repeatedly used fake bank accounts to pay them. Then Waits says Turner would try to make it look like he overpaid his taxes. Waits says Turner thought he could then get a tax refund of real money from the state, trying to scam the state before the state discovered the scheme. Waits says Turner had succeeded in previous smaller schemes against others.
He was able to get $18,000 from SunTrust. He was able to write a check to a car dealership to pay off a very nice car in full with a bounce check.
Charles Turner, an 18-year-old, faces multiple felony charges for attempting to steal over $25 million from Georgia taxpayers through a fraudulent tax refund scheme. Turner owned a legitimate online mail-order business in South Fulton, Georgia. He used fake bank accounts to overpay state taxes, hoping to receive large refunds. Investigators found that Turner was only pretending to overpay his taxes, thinking the state would not catch the deception before issuing refunds. Josh Waits from the Georgia Department of Revenue stated that no money was lost due to their robust protection systems, although Turner made multiple attempts to obtain refunds. Turner believed that if one refund demand went through, he would receive a significant amount of money. The city erroneously claimed Turner had $28 million in the U.S. Treasury. However, Waits clarified that Turner did not have anywhere near that amount, and the U.S. Treasury was not involved. Turner had committed smaller frauds, such as obtaining $18,000 from SunTrust and using a bounced check to buy a car. Authorities believe his initial successes led him to attempt larger schemes. Turner was arrested and taken to Fulton County Jail with ongoing investigations. During a raid, authorities found numerous academic awards in Turner's room, indicating his intelligence despite his poor decisions. Turner was rearrested on January 18 after being released from jail in Henry County. He allegedly set up bogus online businesses and overpaid withholding taxes by nearly $1 million each time, hoping for hefty refunds. Despite his efforts, he never received any money. His mother was unaware of his illicit activities, believing his success was from legitimate online sales. Authorities continue to investigate the extent of his fraudulent activities. Charles Turner used his intelligence to devise a sophisticated tax refund scheme, repeatedly attempting to defraud the Georgia Department of Revenue. Robust state systems prevented any significant loss.
Local 10 tonight, a break in the case of an elaborate Facebook scam.
Police arresting a man who they say made money after posting fake rental ads using his neighbors' cars. Local 10's Sanella Sabovic is live in Dania Beach with the exclusive. Sanella.
That's right, Nicole and Calvin. It was quite the elaborate scam. As you mentioned, there were multiple victims. This lasted for several months, and it all came to an end last week after an arrest was finally made.
He did this over and over and over again.
18-year-old Maurice Verrado is now behind bars. He's accused of orchestrating an elaborate Facebook scam where there were numerous victims.
People have complete strangers coming to their home saying they're here to rent their car, having no idea who this person is. The person that's going to the home having no idea they're about to find out that they've been scammed.
Investigators say Verrado would post fake rental ads on Facebook Marketplace using his neighbors' cars in Dania Beach, then collect deposits to rent those cars. He would give out his neighbors' addresses for pickup. The victims would arrive to the homes having no idea they've been scammed. One Dania Beach resident said she had 8 people at her door in 3 weeks looking to pick up the cars.
Maurice Baroto, an 18-year-old from Dania Beach, has been arrested for orchestrating an elaborate Facebook scam involving fake car rental ads. Baroto posted advertisements for rentals using his neighbors' cars, collected deposits from unsuspecting victims, and directed them to his neighbors' homes to pick up the cars. This led to numerous strangers showing up at these addresses, causing confusion and, in some cases, violent confrontations. One victim, Danny Rios, paid Baroto $370 to rent a blue Mercedes-Benz, only to discover the scam when he arrived at a neighbor's home. Another resident reported having 8 different people show up at her door over 3 weeks. The situation escalated for Robert Vasquez, whose son's car was damaged during one such misunderstanding. Authorities traced Baroto through phone numbers and emails provided by several victims, using subpoenas and warrants for companies like Google, Zelle, and Facebook. Baroto admitted to creating fake Facebook profiles and maintaining backup accounts. He now faces 13 charges and was granted a $50,000 bond, which his mother is trying to reduce. A future court hearing will determine further actions.
At this small store inside Burlington Mall, a former employee charged with a big-time crime.
When I first saw the amount, I was surprised. I thought it was a mistake.
19-year-old Ariel Foster, a student and track star at LaSalle University in Newton, charged with stealing more than $547,000 from this jewelry store.
She would have an item in the store that she would mark up overpriced, and then she would return the difference onto a credit card that she owned in her name.
In total, police say they found 8 transactions starting on February 2nd. An employee at the store says at first they thought their system was hacked, and later learned what was allegedly going on.
At this point in time, there's no indication to believe she did not act alone.
Police say Foster allegedly spent the money on this $35,000 red Tesla. Police add bank records show Foster also charged more than $20 grand to a 5-star hotel in Maui. Nearly $6 grand was spent with Delta Airlines.
We're now learning a little bit more about exactly how this alleged scam worked. And now prosecutors are saying she made off with close to $1 million. 19-year-old Ariel Foster had a group of people with her watching from the gallery in court. As the prosecutor read the charges against the 19-year-old, she is a LaSalle University track athlete who was able to buy some pretty high-end items, including a Tesla and a trip to Hawaii. She worked part-time at a Burlington Mall jewelry store. And in court, the prosecutor said she tampered with the security camera system there. Here's how they say she tried to pull this off.
A series of transactions were reported, 3 dates in question, and on the store's ledger. And it appeared that on these dates, an item was scanned onto the register, and the item price was altered to heighten the loss.
Ariel Foster, a 19-year-old LaSalle University student and track star, was arrested for allegedly stealing over $500,000 from Lovisa, a jewelry store at Burlington Mall where she worked. Foster is accused of manipulating the store's credit card system to issue fraudulent refunds to her own account over 3 days in February. She used the stolen funds to buy a Tesla, purchase Louis Vuitton merchandise, and pay for a trip to Hawaii. Foster appeared in Woburn District Court on Friday, pleaded not guilty to charges of larceny over $1,200, and was released on $1,000 bail. The judge ordered her to avoid contact with her former co-workers and the mall. Despite initially denying the allegations, Foster eventually confessed and apologized during police questioning. The investigation revealed that Foster tampered with store surveillance footage and created fake social media pages to lure customers. Police discovered that the fraudulent transactions involved marking up item prices and then refunding the difference to her credit card. Authorities executed search warrants at her Boston residence and university dorm, seizing evidence and taking her into custody without incident. The investigation is ongoing, with additional charges possible.
Fox 5 News alert in Lawrenceville, where police are looking for two men accused of scamming car shoppers out of tens of thousands of dollars.
Police say they used their employment at AutoStar dealership to prey on customers.
Well, Courtney and Tom, police say two men pretended to be managers here at AutoStar. They were not. Police say those two men cheated customers out of $50,000.
These two suspects were preying on people that were in need of a vehicle.
You're shopping for a car. A sales rep says, does he have a deal for you?
The two suspects identified themselves as managers to the car dealership.
You settled on a vehicle.
The suspects requested a down payment to be placed on that vehicle.
Vega tells Fox 5 customers began complaining back in February. He says Ibrahim Ali and Alexander Weigard lured in customers using fictitious companies, Atlanta Highline Motors and Atlanta Motor Source, to advertise cars legitimately for sale at AutoStar. Ortega says they posed as managers and pocketed unwitting customers' down payments.
An investigation into a scam at AutoStar car dealership in Lawrenceville, Georgia, led to the arrest of Alexander Weigard, 27, and Ibrahim Ali, 30, who posed as managers to defraud customers. The scam, which began receiving attention earlier this year, involved the pair asking for down payments on vehicles and then informing customers the next day that their loan applications were denied, citing a no-refund policy to keep the money. Weigard and Ali also created fake social media pages under names like Atlanta Highline Motors and Atlanta Motor Source to attract customers by advertising cars available at AutoStar. In total, the two men stole over $50,000 from at least 15 victims. The investigation revealed that the pair never intended to process any loan applications. Both men were terminated from their positions at AutoStar once the dealership became aware of the complaints and is now cooperating with the police. Weigard has been taken into custody, while Ali remains at large. The suspects face charges of theft by deception. The stories of these young individuals navigating through criminal activities and subsequent legal challenges bring to light the complexities of their situations, including the systemic pressures and lack of opportunities that can drive such decisions. The diligent efforts of law enforcement in unraveling these schemes highlight the importance of robust protective measures and the need for ongoing dialogue about societal and economic factors contributing to these actions. As these investigations continue, they provide critical insights into preventing similar crimes and fostering a more just and equitable society.